Welcome back for topic 2.9's conclusion with video 3. In this video, we are going to talk specifically about math.random. In the past two videos in this topic, we've covered other aspects of the Java Quick Reference math class. And we've looked at the things you see here, absolute value, power of, and square root. In this video, we're going to talk and camp out kind of only on math.random and look at how it behaves, including using casting to produce an integer result instead of a double result. So let's look at some examples and look at a little bit about math.random first. Math.random is going to give you a double result of a number that is greater than or equal to 0.0 but less than number 1. Here's a number line to represent what math.random can give you. So everything in blue is a result that you might get from a call to math.random. I want you to remember this number line visually as we go through these slides. You're going to see it at least one more time, but I'm hoping that it will kind of give you a cue of everything in blue could be what math.random would produce. Casting, of course, can be used to give us back an integer. I'm going to show you what that looks like in code and what it looks like in result. And then math.random as a syntax rule always is followed by a set of brackets, and math.random can be placed as an output statement within a system.out.println or assigned to a variable. So I'm going to show you that both ways as well. So let's look at some code and predict outcomes. Here is a simple small program. I'm hoping that as you watch this video, perhaps you will pause it and do some coding of your own. This is about the simplest and smallest program you could write that would produce a math.random result. So what do we expect to get here? We want a number that could be 0, and it would go all the way up to, but it does not include the number 1. And you'll notice here that your output is a decimal number with quite a large number of decimal places to it. So here's the same call, except I've declared a variable num1. It needs to be a double because that's what math.random is going to give us back. And then I'm calling that variable to produce my output. So we get obviously a different result, different call. Now let's look at what happens if we multiply our math.random call by the number 10. You learned in elementary school what happens when you multiply a number by 10. It moves the decimal place one place. So that's what's going to happen after math.random generates that pseudo-random number. It's going to move the decimal place. But I also want you to notice here that your result still includes all of those extra hundreds place, tens place, all of those items after the decimal place, because it still is that long pseudo-random number. All right, here we have a little different look because I've added casting. You learned about casting in Unit 1. Math.random here is multiplied by 100. So I want you to think about what I just told you with the multiply by 10. What happens here with multiply by 100? I want to move the decimal place now 2 times, but since I'm casting that number, I can get any number from 0 to 99, or I could say 0 to 100, but I've added here a comment with the word inclusive and exclusive, because that's an important concept when you're thinking about the use of math.random. Inclusive means to include. You know, if you have a party at your house and all of your family's invited, that's an inclusive party of all of your family. If you have a party at your house and you're excluding maybe extended family from out of town, then it would be that type of party. It would be like maybe just a party with just your small, family that lives right in your household. So inclusive means that it includes something. Exclusive means that it doesn't. So if we call math.random times 100, we have the potential to generate 100 different results. In the way that this particular code would run, we would get a number between 0 and 99. We're going to get 100 different results on that number line. Remember that number line that I showed you? We could also refer to that result as a number from 0 to 100 exclusive of the number 100, because we would not generate 100 because we're going to start with 0. Want to look at this a third way now. If I add 1 to this call so that I'm still casting as an integer, I'm still multiplying by 100, so I have 100 different numbers that I'm generating, but now I've added 1 to it. That means that I'm going to start my 100 numbers at the number 1. So now my range becomes 1 to 100, and this would then be called 1 to 100 inclusive. So I want you to work with math.random and look at potential results. Obviously, it's going to be easier with smaller ranges. You could run this, I don't know, 1,000 times and you may never generate the number 99 or the number 76 or whatever your football number is or whatever your favorite number is, birthday number. So it's harder with large ranges to run test cases and get a specific answer. So you sort of have to know how the method behaves, and that's why I think the number line might be helpful. So we're going to look next at a multiple choice question from the course and exam description that uses the terminology that you've just seen in these predictions. So here's the multiple choice question. I'd like for you to pause the video and read the question stem, that's the sentence part at the top, and look over the 5 answer choices and think about what you've just seen and predict your answer. How would you answer this if this were the AP exam? All right, I'm going to give you the answer, but before I do give you the answer, I hope you've already written down or mentally noted what you think that it is. The answer is D. Hopefully that's what you had. We're going to review the question in just a minute. This comes from Skill 1C in the course and exam description. And Skill 1C says that students should be able to determine code that would be used to interact with completed code. So it's important for you to look at page 19 of the course and exam, page 16 of the course and exam description, and be aware of those skills that you're expected to know. So let's look back at this question. You can pause the video. Answer D was the answer. They wanted you to determine which of those code statements would give you a result of 25 to 60, and notice the word inclusive. So we wanted to include the number 60. So we needed to have a range of 36 numbers that started with the number 25. All right, last thing I want to show you in this video is how you can use the simple print line math.random to use for probability, and I think this could potentially become helpful for you on free response. So here's the number line one more time. Remember that we're going to be generating a number from 0 all the way up to, but not including the number 1. And if someone said to you, we want to write a statement, and in Unit 3, you're going to be learning about selection. So this fits nicely with what you're about to go over in Unit 3, like an if-else statement. So we wanted to write some program code that would let us determine a 25% chance of something, or a 50% chance, or a 70% chance. So here's how you can use math.random to do that easily. So math.random generates the number 0.3634, dot, dot, dot. So if you wrote a selection statement that said if the number was less than 0.2, that could be considered a 20% chance. And you see my notes here. Wherever that random number falls is where you can set your bar for probability. This is a really simple way to approach probability. You could do lots more complicated code, but this will get the job done and do it well. So stick that in the back of your mind for later if needed. All right, what you should take away today are the final thoughts about the math class usage in Computer Science A, the methods that are included in the Java Quick Reference, including use of random numbers. I think if you kind of use random numbers, write some code, rewatch this video and pause it, and kind of look at how it behaves in the syntax and do some reading. Thank you for watching. I hope you join us back. Keep watching AP Daily. Unit 3, you're going to be learning about selection. See you soon.